Good evening. Welcome to vBrownbag EMEA, 22nd of April 2014. My name is Michael Paul. I'm hosting this evening. Tonight we have Kaido Kibin returning after his very interesting presentation last week on failover of a view platform using vCenter Orchestrator. This week he's going to be covering VFLOWer Toolkit, which has a lot to do with source control and vCenter Orchestrator again. Sounds like it's going to be a very interesting topic, and I'm not going to hold him up anymore. I'll let him get on with it. So Kaido, if you're all ready, over to you.
Okay. Hello everybody. My name is Kaido Kibin, and I come from a company called ByteLife. And this week we would like to introduce you one of solutions that we have built around VCO, and this solution is called VFLOWer Toolkit. Last week we were talking about VDI failover solution based on VCO, and today we would like to talk a little bit more for those people who are actually working daily with VCO, who are developing VCO workflows and who want to share those workflows or receive workflows that have been created by other people. So one of the big challenges so far that VMware VCO developers have faced is that VCO workflows can be shared in VCO packages format, and these VCO packages basically binary zip file containing information about workflows, actions, configuration items, and other components. But as this transportable package is compressed binary file, it is very hard to distribute it in a versionable way. Of course, you can put your package to the website or to some community as an attachment, but it's very hard to version those packages. And for other people using or who are interested in content of those packages, it's very hard to track what has been changed between different versions. And to overcome that issue, we in ByteLife have developed the very first edition of our tool called VFLOWer Toolkit, and this toolkit enables exchanging VCO content in source code format, and therefore it enables to open VCO workflow market and do the cooperation between different VCO developers. So two basic features that our toolkit provides are possibility to publish VCO content, VCO workflows as a source code to the central repositories such as GitHub. And during today's demonstration, I will show how GitHub can be used for sharing VCO content in a source code format. Another feature that our toolkit enables is to retrieve or download Visio workflows from those central repositories in the source code format and build or compile Visio packages from that source code to be imported into Visio and ready for use. As this is the very first edition of our toolkit, it has some external dependencies that needs to be used or installed. This current version of the toolkit is meant to be used from the developer or Visio administrator workstation or desktop, and therefore there are some tools that must be available in that workstation for our toolkits to work. Most of those tools should be familiar for developers or people who are little bit know developers word. So first component that we need is Apache Ant scripting engine, which is free tool, can be downloaded from the web and easily installable tool to your workstation. Then we need OpenSSL, Java development kit, which should be also pretty familiar for most of the people. Then repository client, and as our first version is developed for the repository called the JIT, then JIT client is needed. Actually, our toolkit doesn't require that this repository must be JIT. So any other repositories can be also used, but our documentation is currently based on JIT, and my demonstration that I will show you later is also based on JIT. So JIT client must be available in your workstation. And of course, as we are working with VMware Orchestrator, then vCenter Orchestrator client should be installed into workstation. And finally, we need a script that unpacks and formats the Visio packages into source code, and this script is based on Ant, Apache Ant, and it's developed by ByteLife, and that's the key component of that toolkit. vFLOWer Toolkit is publicly available. You can download it from the GitHub, and this central repository in GitHub that is created by ByteLife can be used as the basis to create your own repositories for sharing Visio content. And if you search for the vFLOWer keyword in GitHub, you will find our repository that is the source of for the toolkit. So how it works. To publish your Visio content to the GitHub, first you need user account there. So you can create account there. It's free, so no credit card needed. Secondly, if you have already user account created, you must create a repository within the GitHub to store your content. And the easiest way to create a repository in GitHub is to clone or fork ByteLife's existing repository that gives you necessary Ant components and underlying scripts, and also creates needed folder structure that is needed to store VCO content in a repository. Then after cloning the ByteLife's repository, it makes sense to customize your repository there. Change name, change description, change README files, and so on. So to give your face to your repository. Then to work with VCO, you need to make a local copy to your workstation. This activity is called git clone. So you will download from the GitHub repository content, which creates a local copy in your workstation. Then you will export your VCO package into that repository, convert this package into source code, and upload or push this VCO content back to the GitHub, which makes it available to everybody else. So this very first version is command line based, so most of those steps are carried on from the command line, but we are already working on graphical user interface also. Second functionality that this toolkit enables is to retrieve or download other people's work from the central repository. So if somebody else has published their VCO content to the GitHub, you can search for it, and if you have found a suitable repository that contains content you are interested in, you can download it, again using git clone commands to download locally this content. Then you need ByteLife's Ant script to build or compile VCO packages out of that source code that you downloaded from the GitHub. And with VCO client, you will import the binary package to the VCO, and you can start using it. I assume that it makes sense to take questions later, so actually now it's good time to demonstrate how this toolkit works, because it might be a little bit confusing in the beginning. So for that, I have prepared the demo environment, and first what we need to do is to go to the GitHub. So let's log in to the GitHub. My browser already was logged in, so I'm already in. But if you open the browser and go to the GitHub, first thing you need to do is to sign in if you want to create a repository. For just downloading the content, you actually don't need to have an account there. You can always download other people's content anonymously. But let's start from the publishing. Let's say that we want to publish our work into the GitHub. So the first step that we need to do is to create our own repository that contains all necessary tools to be usable using this VFLOWer Toolkit. And if you go to the GitHub, you can search for it, type in VFLOWer into the search engine, up here, and search points you to the ByteLife VFLOWer repository. And if you click on that repository, then you can see the content of the existing VFLOWer Toolkit published there. So here is a README file which describes how to use it, and here is the content of the toolkit. This particular toolkit repository doesn't contain any VCO content there. It's just a VFLOWer underlying framework. It contains Ant components needed to build the packages and to convert packages into source code, and it contains needed folder structure to make those scripts working. So this is the baseline or framework that can be used to create your own VCO repositories. And the easiest way to clone this ByteLife repository is to fork it. So the forking is making a copy of existing repository, and then you will have your own repository in the GitHub. Another little bit more complex option is to download ByteLife repository to your local workstation, change the identity of the repository and push it back as the new repository into GitHub. But as this is a little bit more complex, requires a little bit more detailed knowing about Git tool, I will not discuss this today during this demo, but it's described in our user guide. So this repository in the GitHub also contains user guide. So there are 2 PDF documents included in this repository, which can be checked to have more detailed information about how to use this toolkit. The difference between the cloning and forking is basically that forking creates another copy of this repository but leaves it logically attached to original repository, which means that if you search using the search engine here in the GitHub, your forked sub repository is not retrieved by the search engine. So if you want to publish your work that way that it's available also through the search engine, then it makes sense to clone it, and for that use our user guide to see the commands needed to do that. But during this demo I'm using forking, which creates a child repository, but that's the easiest way to do that. So I'm clicking here on the right upper corner to the fork, and I will be prompted to under which user context I want to create my repository. And I personally have 2 profiles there. I have my company profile and I have my personal profile. So I will fork it under my personal profile there. So forking is in progress, which generates new copy of existing ByteLife repository. And as you can see, now this repository location is not anymore ByteLife VFLOWer, but it's Kaido Kibin VFLOWer. So now it's my own repository, but it's logically related to the ByteLife. So second thing that makes sense is to a little bit customize it. So first thing, I will change name, I will rename my repository to Kaido stuff, for example. Rename. So now my repository is called Kaido stuff. I will also change description here. And of course, we can change the README and other parts, but I will spare your time and will not do it at the moment. Now I have my own repository under my profile, and the repository is called Kaido stuff. And if you put the mouse on top of your repository, on the left upper corner there is the small pop-up message that shows me the full URL to my repository, and it's basically https github.com/kaido-key/kaido-stuff. So github.com, my username and my repository name. Very easy to remember. And second step that I needed to do is to create a local copy to my workstation, because of course the content can be changed directly in GitHub website as well, but it's a little bit inconvenient. So it makes it's much more convenient to do all the changes in local copy and then synchronize your local copy with the central copy. So to create the local copy, I need a JIT client. I have already installed my JIT client to my workstation here, and I prefer command line. There is also a graphical user interface based JIT clients available, but I here prefer the command line tool, which is more convenient to me. And the command line toolkit usage is very simple. So I have created a subfolder in my C drive for the JIT, and this folder is currently empty, but under this folder I will create my local repository copies. So, and to clone the central repository locally, it's very easy. The command is git clone, and I have to provide URL to GitHub. So URL was https github.com/kaido-key/kaido-stuff, and that's it. As you can see, no authentication is needed. I can create or download the content from the GitHub without any authentication anonymously. I just need to know the URL to the proper repository. And now I have my local copy here. And this is the empty copy of my repository here. It contains all needed AND scripts, all needed XML files to describe the way how those packages must be created and so on. And it also contains a folder structure. Basically, in this folder and lib, there is the AND script needed to do the job. And two important folders to me is the content, where my source code will be placed, and in-out, which is the input-output folder, where I will put my package to be converted into source code when I want to publish my content, or vice versa, when I download other people's content and I want to build up the package, then the package generation creates package into that in-out folder. And now that I have my repository already in place, I can publish my VCO content to the GitHub. So for that I need VCO client. I have, to spare your time, I have already logged in, and I have created one very nice VCO workflow in my VCO to share to the whole world, and I'm very proud of that VCO workflow that I recently created. And my workflow is very easy. When I start it, it prompts for the number of seconds, and then it pauses the running that many seconds than I entered, and finally logs the time difference into the log file. So if I launch my workflow, it prompts for the number of seconds to wait. When I put number here and I submit, the workflow starts, and then it logs the starting time and ending time into the VCO log file. So I entered 5 seconds, so starting time was 21:27:11 and end time was 21:27:16. So it exactly waited 11 seconds. So I'm very proud of that VCO workflow. I want to share it to the whole world. So to share my VCO content, I need to create package. So packages are created under the administrative view. Here is the packages tab available in the VCO client, and it already contains lots of pre-built packages, but I want to create the new package. So add package, nice name to the package. Good or best practice is to name your packages based on your domain. So bytelife.com in reverse order and Kaido. That sounds like a good name to my package. So I have package, and now I need to edit it and add content to my package. So let's add my workflow to the package. I don't need to put exactly only the workflow, but I can choose the root folder here and then select the whole folder and add everything into the package. And actually that's it. Save and close. And I have my package created. Now I need to export it because I want to place it, this package, into my Git repository and unpack it for source code. So export package. I need to place this package into my repository's input-output folder. So here is my repository, and here is my input-output folder. Save, and my package was stored here into input-output folder. Here is the binary VCO package containing my whole workflow and all dependent components. If you create VCO package, it includes all dependencies there, so you don't need to select some other components, pre-built components that you might use in your VCO workflow. Everything is automatically included. So now that I have my package, I want to have the source code. My content folder is empty, so now I need to switch back to the command line and generate source code. For that, I need to switch to my repository root folder, and as my repository contains all the Ant scripts needed for that conversion, I don't need to install or add anything else. I just need to run it, and the command to compose source code out of this binary packages and then pre-commit. and it takes my downloaded exported VCO package and unpacks it and formats it into the user-readable XML format. And as you can see, 2 new folders have created. Packages contains XML file that describes my VCO package and its content. And in other folder, I have my workflow, and this is my workflow that I'm proud of. So my workflow is converted into the user-readable XML format as a source code, and now I can publish this XML source code into the GitHub. So I have source code available. Now I need to publish it to the GitHub. For that, I also use Git client. It's relatively easy. First, command git status shows me what has been changed within my repository, and it reports that new content has been added into my repository. Folders, packages, and folder workflows were created. So let's publish that. Git add creates a snapshot of the new content, and git commit takes or finalizes that snapshot of the changes, and -m is the version message, so I will place it my very first edition. My snapshot is created, and now I can publish or upload my new content into the GitHub, and for that I use command git push, and as my local copy is already related to the central repository, the command is git push origin master, which instructs the Git client to upload this local copy into the master branch to the central repository. And it communicates with the GitHub, and now that I want to upload content, I already need to authenticate myself. Uploading content cannot be done anonymously, so I need to authenticate myself. So I will give my username and password. And my content has been uploaded to the GitHub, and I can verify it there using browser. So that was my initial content, and if I refresh it, you can see that the content folder has changed, and my comment that I give with the git commit command, my very first edition, is here, and the content folder contains those new folders that I created, and it contains my package in XML format. And I have published my content, so now everybody in the world can join my stuff. And let's now pretend that I'm somebody else, and I want to retrieve the information from the GitHub. So for that, I will clean up my local Git client. I will delete the local repository here. So let's pretend that the content doesn't exist anymore. So my local repository is empty. So nothing is there. And I also use second VCO. So I have two VCO engines here. I have totally empty VCO server here running, which only contains few pre-built packages that automatically come with the VCO installation, and I don't have any workflows. I have some built-in workflows available. So let's say that I want to retrieve the content from the GitHub. So I have used the Git client to find the content, and here I have discovered that somebody called Kaido, Kaido Key exactly, has published a very nice tool called Kaido Stuff, and I'm very interested in, and I want to have it into my VCO. So now I need to download it, and to download it, again, very easy. The command was git clone and URL. We have already done it once, so I will clone it again from the GitHub to my local computer. And if I open it within browser, I can see that new repository has been created, and in content folder I have source code, the XML that contains that very nice workflow. But in input-output folder is empty, so it means that I need to create the package to be imported into my new VCO server. And for the import, I need to go to the command line again, go to my repository, and again use the ant script. And now the command is ant build. I will create a VCO package from the downloaded XML-based source code. Ant build, and it creates a new VCO binary package out of the source code, and here I have my package. So if I go to my VCO client here, and I will switch to the administrative view and into the packages, I can now upload my package to the VCO. I can click import package, browse it to my repository's input-output folder, select my package and open it. As it has self-generated certificate, I'm prompted for whether I trust that provider or not. Yes, I trust it. And I have option to select how I want to import the content. First of all, I want to import everything, and now dependent on the workflows or the package, whether or not I want to import the configuration settings as well. So some more complex workflows might use VCO items called configuration items, what are the objects where you can store different configuration settings. For example, some IP addresses or URLs or usernames and passwords within the VCO, and that data is stored into the VCO database. So depending on the situation, whether or not I want to import configuration items also with values. For example, if somebody else has published the workflows, those VCO configuration items might contain IP addresses or host names for the wrong environment. So I may select that or deselect this checkbox here, which tells to the VCO to import only the configuration items but clear the content. So it's up to me. So my workflow actually doesn't contain any configuration items, but I will deselect, so I'm not interested in any values. So import and new package. has been imported. And if I switch now to the run view, I can see that that was my local computer. So new folder has been created, and I have my Visio workflow here. And everything is there, and if I click run, looks like my workflow works. So I'll select 6 seconds, for example, here, and if the workflow starts, it will be paused for the 6 seconds, and it logs the starting time and ending time if everything runs correctly. So starting time seconds 52, and now the ending time seconds 58. So it was paused exactly for the 6 seconds. So it seems that my workflow works. Let's say that now I want to make some changes in my workflow, or I want to cooperate with the guys who created that workflow, and I want to cooperate and I want to do some changes. And let's do some very little change here. I will not start to program anything. I will just click here, edit, and the easiest change is to change the location of item in the schema. Save and close, increase version. I have done very important changes. I have designed how this workflow looks like. I have changed the position of my workflows, and I want to publish my changes. Back to the administrator, package, rebuild package. Now it captured my changes, and I can export my changes back to the repository, export package, select input output folder, and let's overwrite the existing package. Yes, I want to replace it. And now I have my package here, my changed package here in the input output folder, and I can use and pre-commit again to unpack it into the source code. And now I should have some changes in my repository, and it shows that 2 XML files have been actually changed. But let's do some other changes. For example, this README file contained lots of information about ByteLife. So let's, for example, delete that README and say that Kaido has created all that stuff here. So I have customized my package, and if I select git status, it already also shows that now the README has changed. So let's git add, git commit -m, and now let's call it second edition already. It's not anymore the first edition, and git push origin master, and I have to authenticate myself again. And all my creation has been published into the GitHub to the central repository, and as you can see, the content has changed into the second edition, which means that, and also README has changed, as you can see here. So that's how I can cooperate with other developers to make changes and contribute in VCO content development. Another good stuff that might be interested to some development geeks, I have seen few people like this, is that you can actually edit the VCO content directly at XML code level. So if you understand XML code here, you can actually do the changes directly in XML, and you don't need to do all the changes each time in VCO. You don't need to export and import all the time, or you can do them directly from here. And let's do another little change here. Let's change this position element, for example, in the XML file. I will put 150 here instead of 50, which should change the position of my workflow's start element. So if you remember, my workflow here currently looks like this. So my start element, the green element, is here in the middle, and I've changed the start element position, and I saved it. And now if I do the build, I have generated new package, and if I go here and select here again import package, select the package again, import, and overwrite everything, and if I switch back to the run view, my VCO workflow has changed. So the position of the starting component has been moved from position 50 to position 150. And again, I can, the same way, publish my change into the GitHub, but I think we have done it already twice during this demo, so I will not publish this latest change to the GitHub anymore. But as you can see, there are many ways to change the VCO workflows. You can do it through the VCO client, or for those geeks who like to write code directly, you can use text editor and write your code into the XML and publish it to the GitHub and test your changes in VCO directly. So at the moment, I think that's it about the demo, and maybe now we have some questions left. I will leave this slide here, which reminds you some important URLs. URL to the GitHub repository where you can download this VFLOWer Toolkit content. And if you want to read more information, then you can find it from our website. But this GitHub repository also contains the user guide, and there is also prerequisite components installation guide, which instructs you how to install ANT scripting engine and OpenSSL and some other components. So that concludes my demo and my presentation. So now I would answer your questions if you have any.
Kaido, thank you very much indeed. Most interesting to see that going on. Very quick question, if I may, just before anyone else asks any. If you like, the encoding and de-encoding of the workflows. Is that kind of action supported by VMware? Is it okay to do that, as far as you know?
Yes, it actually is. To be very honest, if you open this VCO package, I can actually demonstrate it here. So if I take this VCO package binary file here in input-output folder, and if I open it with, for example, 7-zip, it also contains lots of different folders, and it contains also XML files. But the difference is that the VMware provided XML files are not very user-friendly. They are not very easily readable. What our script does is to little bit reorganizes that XML file to make it a bit more user-friendly. It structures it that for little bit, but we don't change the content much, so it is actually supported by the VMware, and VMware PSO team, the Jörg Leb guys. Jörg was talking or introducing us last week. Jörg team has plans to start to use this VFLOWer Toolkit internally within their engagements or their professional service engagement projects. So actually, yes, it's at least supported by the VMware VCO fans from the VMware.
Excellent, excellent. Have you tried it with many more complex workflows, and have you seen any issues at all, any types of elements that your script hasn't coped with?
Actually, not that I'm aware of. I'm personally not the developer. I'm more software architect and data center architect type. But our development team is using this solution internally, and the reason why we actually developed this toolkit was that we started to work or started to do the developments around the VCO. For example, this VDI failover HA solution that I demonstrated last week, that kind of engagements, and in the beginning there was only one developer in our company, but now we have already many developers, and the reason why we developed that it was that after we already had 2 or 3 developers working on VCO, we thought that we need to have some kind of code repository to share the work and to do the cooperation and collaboration. And that's the reason why our developers actually created that toolkit. And we are using it to push our internal development products into our own code repository. And if you saw our demonstration last week, this VDI HA is actually pretty complex product. It contains tens and tens of workflows and lots of actions, scriptable components, lots of configuration items, and other components, and everything is converted using this toolkit. So as far as I know, we haven't seen any issues that prevents us to use that toolkit.
Okay,
of course, it can be made more user-friendly because now it's only from command line, but we are working on it.
Yes, yes, of course. Okay, any other questions out there at all?
maybe about shortly about the roadmap until those questions are coming. Currently, this very first version is working on command line, and you need to install lots of dependent components to your computer. So the preparation requires some time, but we are working very intensively to make it more user-friendly. One development line that we are dealing with is to create a proper GUI-based solution for that, so the users can use graphical user interface. And we are also looking into the more deep VCO integration, for example, to publish this toolkit in form of VCO plugin, for example, which allows to do all those tasks, this downloading and uploading activities directly from the VCO. So you don't need some external command line tools to do that job, but instead you can basically launch the GUI from the VCO and upload and download the VCO content.
That would certainly be very good if you could, you know, export the packages quite simply and re-import them and have it all synchronized to Git automatically. That would certainly be very impressive.
Yeah, that's the way how we see that, and my vision is that to using this tool should be as easy as if you use Apple App Store or Google Play Store to download apps to your phone. Downloading VCO content to the VCO should be as easy as those tools. So everybody who want to have the content to the VCO but are not developers can also use that, because the current version little bit expects that you know a little bit about development stuff. For example, the JIT usage.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. At the moment, we don't have any more questions, so I shall probably suggest that we call it an evening. Kaido, thank you very much indeed. I think I'm going to spend the rest of the evening forking your repository, so to speak, and I'm going to give it a go actually, see what I can do with it. But
okay.
It's been brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, and hopefully we look forward to having you back at some point in the future.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.